It's the mid-1970s. Gas is expensive, disco is hot, and Chrysler as well. Chrysler's on life support. We needed a hit car, something smaller, thriftier, and modern. What they gave us was the Dodge Aspen and Plymouth Volare, a pair of cars that sold like crazy at first, and then went down in history as the Bicentennial Lemons. Don't confuse this Aspen with the short-lived Chrysler one later that was a dressed-up Durango. And welcome to Auto Chatter, where facts, opinion, and speculation will be given. Leave a like, please, if you enjoyed this one, and let us begin. The state of Chrysler prior to these two cars' arrival was kind of grim. The Dart and Valiant were rugged but ancient, dating back to 1963. By the mid-70s, they were the automotive equivalent of your dad's pants from the 60s, stretched out and out of style. Competitors like Ford's Granada, Maverick, and Chevy's Nova were eating into sales. The 73 oil crisis had buyers demanding smaller, fuel-conscious cars. Chrysler itself was teetering financially. Profits tanked in 74 and 75, factories were outdated, and quality control had gone AWOL. Execs knew they couldn't ride the Dart Valiant forever. They needed replacements, and fast. Think of Chrysler in 75 like a college kid cramming for finals. Broke, exhausted, and hoping nobody noticed they copied half their work. But they had a plan, or at least part of one. The code name for it was F-Body, intended to be a Dart Valiant replacement. Engineers, they wanted time, but management rushed it for the 76 model year, shaving about 18 months off the schedule. The design goals was a big car comfort and a small car package, familiar drivetrains like the Slant 6 and small block V8s to save money, a unibody construction with torsion bar suspension. Styling would be clean, squared-off lines, a break from the ornate barges of the early 70s. The name Volare means to fly in Italian. Ironic, since Russells made the fenders look airborne after two winters. Aspen, I would guess, was named for the city in Colorado that is also no stranger to seeing white stuff on the ground. As far as launch hype, Chrysler bragged about the ride quality, comfort, and fuel economy. Motor Trend even crowned it 1976 Car of the Year. Now, winning Car of the Year before the recalls hit is like winning the best new restaurant before the health inspector notices the rats.
Stop that health inspector!
As far as the pop culture scene at the time, Bohemian Rhapsody was huge, so was Disco Lady, and Staying Alive was everywhere. Jaws had people afraid of the water. Rocky made people run upstairs. Television gave us Happy Days, Charlie's Angels, and the rise of the three-camera sitcoms. Politics, America was still recovering from Watergate and celebrating its bicentennial. Unfortunately, Chrysler's idea of reliable was like Fonzie's idea of being subtle, pretty much non-existent. But the automotive duo launched for the 76 model year in three body styles: a two-door coupe with a 108.7-inch wheelbase, four-door sedans and wagons had 112.7. Engines was a 225 Slant 6 with about 100 horsepower, 318 V8 with 140 to 150, a 360 V8 with 155 to 175,
140 cubic inch plant. It's got cop tires, cop suspension, cop shocks.
Transmissions was a 3-speed manual, kind of a rare 4-speed manual if you could find one, and a 3-speed torque flight automatic. Curb weight, 3,100 to 3,500 pounds. Fuel economy, the Slant 6 would get you up to about 22 highway. The V8s were 12 to 16. MSRP was $3,300 to $4,400. That would be about $19,000 to $25,000 in 2025. The hot models were the Volare Roadrunner and the Aspen RT, remnants of the 60s and early 70s muscle car era. The word hot was subjective, as these were more appearance and sticker packages by this era. Sales-wise, over 500,000 combined, so they had a great launch. And how about a little breakdown for the remaining model years for these? And we'll start with 1977. They added a Super 6 two-barrel carb for 10 additional horsepower, optional T-tops for coupes. This was the new fun stand-in for convertibles, as they were being threatened with extinction by the US government, and the public was generally turned off, not having any kind of rollover protection. Sales peaked for this model year. We're talking about 700,000 selling for the Volare and Aspen combined. Star Wars also hit the theaters. George Lucas rushed his effects and made a classic. Chrysler rushed their engineering and made recall notices like a lot, like the most of any car at the time. Which brings us to 1978. There was few mechanical changes. The rust problems exploded. Front fenders could disintegrate within 2 years. Wagons were still useful, but buyers noticed corrosion in stalling. There were some low production trims that were available, like the Volare Super Coupe, Volare Kit Car, Aspen Super Coupe, and Aspen Kit Car. We're talking maybe 1,100 combined of all of these made. Sales fell hard to under 400,000 for both models. 78 also brought us grease. Just like Sandy and Danny, the Aspen and Volare looked cool in the ads, but most of the time they were a hot mess. 79 managed to get a little worse. There were small trim tweaks, fewer color options. 85-mile-an-hour federally mandated speedometers began showing up. Sales slumped to around 345,000 for both. Doesn't seem bad by today's standards, but there was less mainstream choices then. 79 also gave us the Dukes of Hazzard. Good thing they drove Chargers, because an Aspen wouldn't survive one jump without becoming yard art. 1980 will become the final curtain call for these. There was a facelift, thin grille and rectangular headlights. Makes an 80 easy to spot. Same powertrains, no miracles. The 79 oil crisis had buyers looking at more thrifty options. Aspen sales fell below 70,000. Volare around 90. MSRP was now about $5,100 or $20,000 in 2025. They were replaced in 1981 by the front-wheel drive K cars, the Aries and Reliant. 1980 also gave us the Empire Strikes Back. Chrysler hoped to strike back too, and they did. The Omni and Horizon set the stage, and the K cars and later Caravans made most of the 80s a good time for Chrysler. As for the various recalls, some of those included front suspension subframe attachment failures, hood latch defects, brake line corrosion under the battery, seatbelt latches that could pop open, fuel vapor hoses rubbing against the belts, rampant rust, especially the fenders. These cars had more recalls than Saturday Night Live had bad sketches. Owners didn't even trade them in. They surrendered them. The Aspen and Volare were gone, and the K cars took their place, ironically saving Chrysler. The twins are remembered today as a cautionary tale. Proof you can't rush engineering no matter how groovy the sales brochure looks. Still, they have a cult following, if only because they're rare survivors of an era when rust worked faster than disco. Anyway, this has been my Volare and Aspen chatter, and I do hope you liked it. Until next time, I'll be keeping the headlights on for you, and chatter out.